Hi, I'm David Dodge. Welcome to Green Energy Futures. Last week in part 1 of our year-end review of green energy milestones from 2018, we learned that wind power is the cheapest way to produce electricity, and that Volkswagen will cease production of gas vehicles by 2026, and that Canada has committed to a coal phase-out by 2030 that mirrors Alberta's plan. This week we present part 2 of our year-end review with Dr. Tim Weiss, Industrial Professor of Mechanical Engineering at the University of Alberta. The fourth big green energy story of 2018 was the ascent of solar energy in Alberta.
In solar, we've seen about 500% growth in the industry in the last 3 years, and that's since sort of new programs have started rolling out. At the same time, it's because the costs of solar have declined rapidly. In parts of southern United States where there's a better solar resource, solar is now starting to outcompete wind in some cases.
A number of Alberta municipalities have also jumped onto the solar train.
I think obviously Medicine Hat was kind of the leader in this because they were out ahead of everybody for years and years and years of having their own solar program before the provincial one came on. The city of Edmonton has a solar program that you can double up on in terms of getting the city rebates as well as the provincial ones. And then we're also just seeing municipalities really taking advantage of this.
In addition to provincial programs, Medicine Hat, Brazeau County, and the city of Edmonton ran their own solar incentive programs. In Edmonton, it's part of the city's energy transition plan. Many municipalities are also installing their own solar projects.
Raymond, Alberta, put in solar for all their own municipal buildings. So all their own power is going to be generated from solar in a small town in southern Alberta. So I think you're seeing lots of uptake, across the province.
Green Energy Futures profiled major solar projects on stores like Simon's, Red Deer College, Homes, and many others in 2018. Last week, we learned that wind power is the cheapest way to produce electricity in Alberta, but according to Weiss, solar is the lowest cost option in some jurisdictions.
Wind in the last 5 or 6 years has been the lowest cost technology, and as we spoke of a moment ago, is outcompeting coal fuel cost. Now we're seeing solar kind of with the right solar resource nipping at wind's heels, and I think that's a pretty major development.
It's almost hard to wrap your head around it, that wind power and in some places solar are the cheapest ways to produce electricity.
I think we're starting to hit certain milestones and certain tipping points where once you start to outcompete the fuel costs of either natural gas or coal, it fundamentally changes how you start thinking about what a new investment's going to look like.
People and businesses installing thousands of solar systems and new wind farms, this is a big change in the market.
And I think that's another disruption that's going to change the game in terms of how utilities operate, how they think about how they service their customers. And it does kind of open up a new door for individuals or communities or municipalities, as we've seen, to be putting these types of systems, sort of taking the energy into their own hands. And so I think we're into a new business model. What I don't think it means, though, is I don't think utilities are going away. And I think people often think that I'm just going to put a solar panel on my roof and cut the cord and that'll be that. I think there's still going to be a major role for utilities in terms of system balancing and supply and demand management and all those types of things.
The next disruption that could be coming to the Alberta grid just might be batteries.
I think batteries are kind of the next big thing that's coming, and that comes sort of hand in glove with electric cars, right? And we're sort of seeing that technology develop for electric cars, but it's also coming for utility scale applications as well.
Weiss says the impact of batteries is still unknown, but it could also dramatically change how we generate electricity. Thanks for listening. Learn more at greenenergyfutures.ca. For Green Energy Futures, I'm David Dodge.